1,000 days. It's actually been 1,000 days since I started this journey of building my own business or agency or whatever you like to call it. And I've been doing a lot of thinking a lot about the how of it. Like how the things have changed from the time I was actually thinking about starting it, fresh out of the college, and today. Like everything. Answering the question, very first question of where do I even begin all this after college, to currently experiencing the biggest shift in priorities of my life yet. For example, today all I want to do is take as much time out as I can to film these videos and share it with you guys. But obviously that wasn't the case when I started my business. And neither should it be. I mean, why should you take out time to follow your passion, right? But what if I tell you there is a little bit of advantage in delaying to follow your passion a little bit? Let me explain. Why I say that is because of the first lesson that I learned. Or rather, this is the only lesson that I stumbled upon, and the only lesson out of the three that's not, I feel, controversial. But let me tell you, it's okay to delay but not delete. Yeah, too philosophical. Let me explain. You see, all of us have a dream. And in my case, I would say it was more about me telling stories to you guys and becoming a YouTuber. So, let's place it here. But I didn't have the resources, experience, or any of the things essential to ideally become a YouTuber. And the only thing that I felt at that time that was standing between me and my dreams were enough resources, equipment, and having some financial backing. So let's call those things the obstacles standing between you and the dream. So for the Rishi of 2021 to reach his dreams, I had to kick off these problems. Although today, looking back at it, I do realize some of these were problems that were created just mentally and could have been avoided. But to deal with some of these problems, I just took a little bit of a detour that ended up delaying my dreams. The detour of starting freelancing and doing my agency. So what freelancing did for me was throw me and my camera into endless different experiences to deal with clients, to deal with different project scenarios, learn lighting, learn bits and pieces that eventually would help me to build my own YouTube channel and enhance the stories that I wanted to tell. But also hunting for work and pitching out to multiple clients, communicating with them, taught me one essential skill, that was the importance of using the right words in communication. You see, one of the most essential skill of telling your own stories is, I feel, articulating the things right. To put your thoughts correctly into words. And that, to be honest, I literally didn't have any right experience before starting my freelancing journey. And I truly recommend, if anyone who wants to be good at it, I feel sales and pitching are the best way to learning that. So that gave me two major experience points. Just filming and shooting and editing by myself just made me learn a lot of new things that I technically for that time did for my clients, but today going back at it, it's very easy for me to integrate them in my own workflow. And number two, the experience of talking in front of the camera, which, to be honest, I feel are the two of the most essential skills to be a storyteller and a YouTuber. So that was one of the bucket. But we still didn't have much money or the resources. So that's when the story moved a little bit ahead and we moved to joining off, starting my agency. What starting my agency did for me was I was actually able to scale my business to a new level. To be honest, this was the actual time when it was also a business, because it involved people that was not just me and me doing everything alone. So a little bit of money started coming in, and the money also helped me solve the problem of gathering the right resources. But also starting an agency helped me understand the importance of dealing with a team, and leading a proper vision. Because trust me when I say this, without a proper vision, any and every path is literally blind. It's literally driving a car with no steering wheel, because if you don't know what the vision is, you literally don't know what direction you're headed to. Which was the case in at least my scenario for the first 6 months of me starting an agency, because I literally had no experience of leading a team. But I feel there's literally nothing wrong with learning the skills on the fly. So in hindsight, it did work out pretty well. So this detour of freelancing and starting my agency took around 3.5 years for me. 3 years, 7 months of delaying my own dreams. But these 3.5 years not only helped me solve these three of my mental barriers, but it also helped me deal with having no excuses left to finally chase my dream. To finally have nothing to be scared about. And give me that final push that I needed to no longer delay my dreams. Coming to the second lesson, which is one of the most controversial but not as controversial as the third, is don't think outside the box. Trust me when I say this, there's a lot of hype in thinking outside the box, and rightly so, but in doing so, people literally forget one of the most essential things. Literally nothing irritates me more than when people say think outside the box. Because in today's time, that's something you don't want. Rather, what you want is to create your own box. Choose your own fonts, choose your own colors, choose your own personality, choose your own values, and most importantly, choose your own visions. And I feel especially when people try to think outside of the box, they start panicking, they try to borrow from someone else's box, and it no longer is actually unique. It's rather desperation for creating something that you truly aren't passionate about, and it just doesn't work. So I don't think that. And for this, the most commonly used example I always tell people is Steve Jobs. For example, his box was to always try and create something different. That's it. But when you figure out that that's your end goal, to create something different again and again and again, you simply need to create your own box and keep going bigger and bigger and bigger. Keep going bigger on that box of how new and different things can be done, by still staying true to the fact that you're going to create something that makes a difference in this world and do it far different than what others are doing. But to do something that's not already been done there and is different, it needs to come from within you. It cannot be borrowed. It cannot be replicated. It has to come from within. The idea of creating difference was something that was within Steve's box, and he kept on increasing that box again and again. And that box cannot be built till the time you figure out what your paintbrush, what your values, what your goals, missions stand for. Figure out that. Give yourself more credit than what you did. Because trust me, I've suffered from this for the most and longest of my times. By not giving enough values to what I can contribute to the table, but rather succumb to the pressure of what people want to see. And I genuinely feel in 2024, when there's so much content, when there's so much information, when there's overload of things out there in the internet, everyone trying to copy, steal, borrow from someone else, thinking outside the box is not going to answer most of your questions. Rather than bringing what's unique to you, what you stand for and what you can bring on the table, what's inside your own box is what will actually matter. Because I genuinely feel the ideas in my case that have worked for me are the ideas that were born from within, which were true to me and no one else, including the YouTube videos that are here. I have 2 videos that have done more than 100k, and both the videos are actually literal my story and nothing else. So that tells you my point. And the most important yet controversial lesson that I'm about to share is to forget work-life balance till the time you turn 25. Because initially, at least in my case, when you start early, when you start young, you start more often than not with very limited amount of resources in terms of money. And to start a business, you cannot directly go out there and start hiring. Like for my case, I could not go there and hire an accountant, an editor, a photographer, a stylist, a social media strategist, and so many more. So you always start with the idea of what if you do that yourself. I tried to learn most of the skills myself, but in doing so, I saved on this initial fixed cost for the at least first 6 months of the most crucial time of your business. So instead of hiring, what I did was, I slowly and steadily supplemented one person into these roles. For example, initially I did the photography, videography, editing, accounts, graphic designing all by myself. But slowly I started hiring for each of those positions, say every 3 months. Every 3 months I used to hire the first thing that I was very bad at. So in my case, it was graphic designing. Next came the video editing, then the photography, videography and accounts. What that did was, it gave me enough time to collect little bit of resources, little bit of money and slowly supplement each and every role in my company. But what that in return taught me was I knew most of the bits of each and every role that were required to run my company in any given day. So at a doomsday, I can still supplement myself on any of that roles, especially during the initial years of the business. Even today, if sometimes I know my elder is not going to show up, or if there's any other reason, I know I can supplement myself in that role and get the job done. Also, by doing so, what has helped me a lot is, especially when you start young, most of the time the people that you hire are got to be older or the similar age group as you. And what I learned was it is much easier to lead a team, to give a vision to the team when you know those directions yourself. When you've navigated through those lanes yourself, and leading by example was one of the best things that I could ever do. Because to be honest, I knew nothing about running a company, and by doing each and every role myself and supplementing them with my time, my effort, and learning those skills, what it brought to me was not only to save initial amount of money in my time, build a proof of concept for my business, but to have a healthy relation with my team so that whenever the team is stuck at a dilemma, they're stuck at a problem, you're there to solve it because you've navigated those problems yourself. And that's why I feel in your early 20s, do not worry about work-life balance. You have plenty of time after that because the time gets more and more valuable as you grow older. But initially you have some years to spare to learn and not think about everything and anything about how you can enjoy every bits and moments of your life and not think about that. And that's why I feel work-life balance isn't as essential in your early 20s, because you can really let go of certain amounts of your time to learn these important skills that are essential to run your business, save on that cost, build it slowly, but when you're ready to accelerate, you have that experience, you have those skills, and you have the resources saved up with you to go out big with a bang. Because trust me when I say this, time gets more and more valuable and important when you turn 25, 26, 27 and more. But your initial days, that time, if you can spend it to learn skills and not worry about striking the perfect balance of work and pleasure, it's a worthy sacrifice to make to take your business to the next level, or anything what you want to do, chase your dreams to the next level. But with that said, that's what I wanted to share, the 3 most important lessons that I've learned till now in my journey. But stay tuned for the next couple of videos because I'm flying to an amazing international destination. Little bit for business and little bit more for that striking that work-life balance, because I've officially turned 25 last month. And see you on the next one.